Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Shay, and if you found your way to this video, you have found your way to my pregnancy vlog series. So in this series, I'm just going to be talking about my experiences during my first pregnancy. So one of the main reasons that I'm filming these videos is because I'm blind. I've been blind for nearly 20 years, and I wanted to share my experience primarily because there is so much information out there on parenthood, on motherhood. I mean, you could watch pregnancy vlogs probably for ages on YouTube, but there's very little information when it comes to what it's like to be a disabled parent, or specifically a parent or a mother who is blind. And so I wanted to film this both as a resource for other blind moms, blind fathers, whatever it may be, but also as kind of an opportunity for people to learn about blindness and learn about the capabilities of blind people. We are able to be perfectly successful parents. I hope you'll see that that's true in these and other videos, hopefully in the future. And I just kind of wanted to share my learning process as well. Just as a new parent, I think there's so many things to learn. I know myself, like, I've been so overwhelmed by the amount of choices you can make as a new parent, and I mean, it can just get paralyzing. So as I make that journey, I'll take you along with me and learn what we can, and I'm glad you could join me. So I guess in this video, I'm going to share a little bit about how we found out about our sweet little one, and also talk about some of the symptoms I've experienced in pregnancy, kind of how my body has been as changing and that sort of thing, and then also talk about the products that I have acquired so far and some of my thoughts for, I guess, the future of these videos and that sort of thing. So just a little bit of context. My husband and I were pretty recently married, and we weren't necessarily we hoped for a child, but we didn't necessarily have it in mind to have them so soon. But we're so thankful that God's plans are like happening instead of our own plans, because we are so blessed to have this baby. So yeah, but when we first were married, we actually kind of thought we were pregnant shortly after. And so we had these pregnancy tests on hand, and we had taken them then, and we'd gotten negative results. And so we were like, okay, well, you know, clearly we're not pregnant now, so we're just going to hang on to this last pregnancy test that we had, just in case we needed to use it. So also, fair warning, I should have said this earlier, pregnancy vlogs, just in general, are probably TMI for some people. If you're squeamish about anything, or you don't want to talk about like some of those kind of more tender topics, click off, because we will be talking about probably bodily fluids and different things. So if you're uncomfortable with that, that's okay. I don't want to force you to watch anything that would make you uncomfortable. And also, it's probably not appropriate for necessarily a child to watch for that reason. So anyway, moving forward, I definitely was very surprised, because I didn't actually think this month, I didn't have any kind of feelings that I was pregnant. I just was like, oh no, I'm, you know, if I did notice any symptoms, I would always just brush it off and be like, yeah, that's what I thought before, and like, that's definitely not what's going on. So I was not noticing anything really, but whenever it came time for me to get my period, I was like, it's not here today. And my period is very regular. It always comes in the same cycle on the same day. It's very like predictable. So I was very shocked that, you know, the day that it kind of was late, and I was like, that's kind of weird. Okay, well, you know, it'll probably come tomorrow. So next day, I was looking for it, didn't come. Next day, still didn't come, and I just kind of said to my husband, like, we should probably use that last pregnancy test. So the next morning, I think it was like 4 days after I should have gotten my period, I went in the bathroom, I was shaking, I was so excited, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what if this is really a thing? morning, and I took the test. And of course, as a blind person, you can't really read like the 2 or 1 line test things by yourself. So I had this digital test. It was a clear blue digital test, and it showed, you know, pregnant or not pregnant. And I have an app that reads to me, so I could have pointed the camera at it so that it would read the words that were on the little digital readout. But this day, praise God, my husband was home in the morning, and so I took the test and I just kind of left it there for it to do its thing, because I think it usually has to sit there for 2 to 5 minutes or something. And so I just like went, and I was petting my dog, who's next to me, by the way. This is Prim. She's my guide dog. She's probably not entirely visible. She's very black. She was next to me listening. So I was going over petting her, just going, oh my goodness, like, don't know what to think. And like a couple of minutes later, my husband went in, and he just looked down at the test. He just went, yep, we're pregnant. And I just could not believe it. I was just like, are you joking? And like the thing is, the last month that we had thought we were pregnant and ended up not being pregnant, he had joked, and he had said like, oh, we better start buying baby clothes or something. I forget what he said, but it was something along those lines. And I'd been like, what, are you serious? And he was like, no, it says negative. And I was like, so anyway, this time I was like, are you actually joking? Like, I actually don't know. And he was like, no, I'm not. And so we both just hugged each other. We're just like, wow, oh my goodness. And we're both Christians, so we just sat down in bed and we just went to the Lord. We're just like, Lord, thank you for this amazing blessing, but also we are so like just humbled and a little bit scared, because it's just like, this is a new life that wasn't there before, and this life has been entrusted to us, and that is such a weighty responsibility. So we're just going to the Lord and just saying like, please God, help us to love this child well and raise them well. And it was such a special morning, and I don't think I've ever had a day like it, really, honestly, looking back on other moments of my life. Like, it was just such a special thing, and so precious. So we got to tell our family that week. I know people have different opinions about when you should tell people about your pregnancy. We just kind of felt that, this is a gift that we've received from God, and this child deserves to be celebrated. And even if, God forbid, something were to happen, like, we would want to have celebrated this life no matter what. So we shared with our family. It was so great. In fact, my grandmother just texted my mom today and was saying like, is she really pregnant? She like still can't believe it. So yeah, I mean, we can't quite either. Like, it's just such a crazy reality to be like, there is a new life that wasn't there before. Like, how is this a thing? And how is it that God has given me the opportunity to carry this life and like give them like a home for their first 9 months of existence? Like, it's just so crazy to me. Well, and for, I mean, the rest of their life obviously as well, but like, just it for pregnancy, like, it's such a crazy thing. So anyway, that's kind of the story of how we found out. And from there, I guess with symptoms, so I've noticed quite a few really, but none of them have been like particularly bad or anything. Fatigue, definitely. Like, I get very, very, very tired. Like, just noticing things like, cleaning up the kitchen in the evening used to be such an easy thing, and then, now it's just like such a slog. So I'm just like, I'm so tired, I don't want to be doing this, which is a great excuse, but I really shouldn't be using it. Also, yeah, so fatigue, I'd say, is one of the main things. Breast tenderness, definitely. Metallic taste, I've noticed a lot, which is really good actually. It helps me drink water. Remember to drink water, because I'm like, oh, I need to get this taste out of my mouth. Yeah, and then the other thing that I've really noticed, cramping, slight cramping, never bad or anything, but just kind of there. The other thing that I've noticed a little bit is shortness of breath. I feel like you might even be noticing in the video sometimes. I'm like, but yeah, it's it's weird. I didn't know that could be an early sign of pregnancy, but it turns out that is actually a thing whenever I researched it online. And obviously an early pregnancy is not to do with like, oh, I have no space in my belly, I can't expand. Like, it's to do with hormones. So that's actually been, I think, maybe one of the worst symptoms, just very uncomfortable, like especially trying to sleep and stuff. You can't breathe, you're just like, oh, this is the worst. So, and obviously like a little nerve-wracking as well during COVID times. You're like, why can't I breathe? But yeah, obviously I haven't had any symptoms of that. So yeah, other than not being able to breathe. But what I have noticed, if you experience this, try this. If I stay really, really hydrated and I just keep drinking the water, just downing it all day, that really, really helps with the shortness of breath. Like, the days that I stay rehydrated are the days that I can breathe the best. So don't know if that has any science behind it, but that's what I've experienced anyway. The other thing, I guess, in terms of my body, this is very weird, I actually kind of noticed a slight roundness in my belly even like the day before I took the pregnancy test. And I had kind of very, very imperceptible, I mean, to anybody else they wouldn't have noticed, you know what I mean? But to me, I was like, it's kind of weird. Then about a week or so later, maybe a week and a half, I don't even know if it was that long, but my friend even noticed, like, she looked at me and she was like, Shay, you have a bump. And I mean, I was just so shocked because that was at 5 weeks, you know. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily normal. I definitely haven't seen that online really anywhere that I've researched. So I mean, I am a very slight person and I would have a very like defined smaller waist. So for my friend to notice, like, kind of makes sense because obviously she knows me well and she sees me all the time and it'd be easy for her to notice. But at this stage, at nearly 8 weeks, I have a very pronounced bump. And yeah, so we're kind of wondering if we're actually further along than we originally thought. It might be possible, we could be 12 weeks. I just don't think so though, because last month I did get my period and it just seems odd. So that's a question mark. We don't know what's going on there. But I find it really comforting, like, even though part of you is like, oh my gosh, my body is changing in so many ways and this is so weird. But like, it's also such a comforting thing. Just if I'm ever like worried about the baby or paranoid in any way, it's just like so nice to just put my hand on my bump and just be like, okay, like, the baby's in there, she's okay as far as I know. So and obviously just trusting the baby to the Lord and giving him or her into God's hands, you know, is a really important thing. So yeah, but my friend is making fun of me. She's like, you're already doing that motherly thing where you don't, you know, put your hand to your belly. And yeah, but it is kind of, it's such a like tempting thing to do because you're just like, this wasn't here before, like, this is so strange. And it's just that kind of physical, like, I guess, manifestation of like, wow, there is really a child in there, which is just such an amazing thought. So yeah. And then in terms of products, so I will show these either in today's video or another video. Products, I will show them at some stage anyway. But I did acquire 2 things so far. I know it sounds really early to be getting things, but as a blind parent, I need certain specific things and I wanted to be able to save money on them. So my thought was, particularly a pram, buggy, stroller, whatever your lexicon is. So as a blind parent, I will be pulling the stroller behind me instead of pushing it ahead of me. So I wanted to get, okay, so the pitfalls, this is kind of hard to explain. Pitfalls of this is strollers are not designed to be pulled, they're designed to be pushed. So generally a stroller will have fixed wheels in the back of the stroller and then swivel wheels in the front so that it's easier to push it in whatever direction you desire to go. However, if you're pulling it, that means every time you try to turn, it fishtails. So what you want in a stroller is, if you're pulling it, is to have fixed wheels in the back and swivel wheels in the front. However, most strollers are not designed that way. So anyway, I found a model that I really wanted. And I just thought, okay, I'm gonna like have this in mind and then be looking on secondhand websites so that we don't have to spend an arm and a leg trying to buy the exact model that we want. And it just so happened that like right after I figured out what model I wanted, I went on one of those secondhand websites and it was there, and I was like, oh wow, like okay. So I ended up just going for it because it was €50, and like, I mean, this buggy is like originally 1,000 or something, and it also had all these accessories and stuff, and I just was like, this is the steal, I'm just gonna go for it. So, you know, obviously it is used, but it I think will be perfectly functional, and you know, it has kind of new covers and stuff on it as well. So yeah, really excited I got that. And basically it is, I'll talk about this in another video, it is a Bugaboo Chameleon, and the benefit of that is it has a reversible handle, and it also has an extendable handle, so you can have the handle like quite short, like lower to the ground, which is good for, obviously, if you're pulling it behind you, you don't want it to be really high. And then also it's reversible, so I can make it so that the swivel wheels, as I was talking about earlier, are in the front as I'm pulling it, traveling in the direction that I'm going, and then the fixed wheels will be in the back as I'm pulling it. So yeah, it was just kind of I don't know, I'm really pleased with the purchase. The other thing that I got, my friend and I went to a charity shop. We just kind of happened to, she has a baby as well, so we were looking at baby stuff, and we're just like, oh, there are these cute things, and they were really good brands, you know, that just kind of had ended up in the second hand shop, and they looked really nice. So I was just like, and they were all like €1 or under, or like €1.50 or something, and I was just like, seriously, I'm just gonna get them. So I got 5 items for €5 in all, and I mean, praise God for secondhand stuff. Like honestly, I've spent €55 so far on this baby, and like it's just great. I guess those are kind of the main things I wanted to cover today, but I just want to thank you for watching this video and for watching any other videos on my channel, and thanks for joining me on this journey. As usual, I mean, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things. Definitely leave any questions that you have in the comments as well. I'm happy to answer anything about, you know, blindness related stuff. And yeah, hopefully you'll join me for another video, and I'll see you then. Bye!